All right, guys, we're live. Welcome back to another episode of Ladies Night with Moff and Spence. Rich is not going to be on the show this week. He'll be here next week. I'm going to be taking some time off, and it'll be Richard and Spence, and I'll be back towards the end of the month. But got a great new panel this week. Happy New Year, first Ladies Night of 2025. So first thing we want to do, ladies, is just do a quick round of intros. We talked a little bit about this before the show, but it's going to be your name, your age, where you're from, your current relationship status, and I'll ask this: what made you want to come on the show? So let's just put you on the spot a little bit. But let's start with top to bottom. We'll go with Francesca.
Hello, everyone. And I am Francesca. I'm from Sicily. I live in London. I am a spiritual guide. What does it mean? That I love connecting people into the real participation of life, which means being present in many different scenarios. It's all about relationships, matters, but most of all about love and life. So what happens along my sessions, I gather people or I have a session one-to-one for couples to solve spiritual problems about love, or also to gather people to connect them all to the essence of life. The key word for me for my mission is participation, which is connection. And I love my mission because it's about healing, but most of all, is about being alive. And the discovery of the beyond for me is very essential. So I love what I do, and I love the people I meet.
Okay, and you mentioned you are based in the UK.
What I love also about my journey is that can be
I think we're
nature,
having some
can be
delay
food.
issues already. Can everybody hear me?
Yeah,
Okay, we're good. No, please go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off. You froze there a little bit, but you're good.
everything that is made of love helps to connect people to the present moment. So can be the energy of someone, the food that someone is eating. So for me, participation is key for connection to life.
And you said, I asked about your relationship status. Do you care to? You said you're in love, but you're not in
I
a
am in love.
relationship. But
Yes.
not in a relationship.
It's difficult to call it relationship because we never met, but we met, our souls met. So we are in love with each other's essences, but we never met on earth yet. So it's a spiritual love. That's why I say I'm in love, but a relationship for me is more when you meet and you have this solid base of love. And in the moment is the essence of love, what we share, which is
All
the
right.
most powerful, but I would call it not the usual relationship, but another kind of relationship, which is found in another dimension. And not everyone is able to meet someone on this level of kind of love.
Okay, we're definitely going to come back to that. Kathy, would you like to go next and introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Kathy. I'm from New York City. Um, I am a Taekwondo athlete in training, so that's what I focus majority of my time on. I also am a Pilates instructor in training, so I'm studying to get my certification there. I aim to just spread the word on wellness, help people, achieve their physical goals, and having to understand how to have a relationship with themselves and their bodies.
And your current age
Current age is 28.
and your relationship status.
I am single at the moment.
Okay, cool. All right. Jackie, welcome back. You want to do your intro?
Hi, I'm Jacqueline, and I live in Southern California. I've been in a relationship for 2 years, and I'm 29 years old. One of the reasons that I wanted to come on the show, other than the fact that I've referred many a gentleman to Rich's work and his group, and I really identified with what he said. Rich reminds me so much of my own dad. I always thought my dad was kind of a jerk, but then I realized he was really the only person who ever told me the truth. And I know that Rich is just very honest like that, and those are the types of mentors that I prefer. So it's fun to be here.
And you are a coach. You're a dating coach for women, right?
Yes.
A relationship coach. Okay. Gotcha. All right. Just for anybody that didn't see our last show. Camila, welcome back. You're up.
Hi, I'm Camila. I'm from Tampa, Cuban. I'm a political science major in USF, and I work at Ulta too.
You said you're in a relationship, right?
Yeah, and I'm in a relationship.
Okay. Very good. All right. And Jada, round us off.
My name is Jada. I am 26. Relationship status is I'm married. I've been married for 5 years. What I do, I mostly am like stay at home, but in the meantime, I do my podcast, and I'm a dating coach as well. I kind of help people, specifically marriages and wives, to kind of help them with communicating to their husbands, and I can go into all of that. But
Yeah, no, we definitely will.
and
Yeah, so we have 2 coaches for women, which is really interesting. Yeah, please go ahead, finish.
Oh, and the reason why I actually wanted to come on is because I listened to some of you guys' streams, and it's a lot about what I talk on my own podcast. So I'm very excited to hear directly from, like-minded people, and just to probably learn more from you guys, honestly.
Okay, great. Well, yeah, we're definitely excited to dive into that a little bit. I mean, anybody who's watched this show knows my opinion on women dating coaches, especially ones that are coaching men, which I think they should never do. But we'll come back to that. But I want to start with Camila first. So Camila, you are a repeat guest, and I remember you were with us a couple of weeks ago. But I remember distinctly after we got off the show, you mentioned that you had a conversation with your boyfriend at the time, or he mentioned something after watching the show. Can you talk about how maybe your relationship has changed, what you guys talked about, how it's maybe evolved since you came on the show originally? Because I'm sure he's watching, right?
Sadly, he's at work right now, so he
We'll
can't
catch
watch
the
right now.
replay.
Yeah,
But what was that conversation like after you got off?
yeah, basically it was mainly around the whole take lead thing, how if he makes a decision, like he was very happy to know that like if he has to make like a big decision, I would like follow suit with him. The main thing was also like taking charge, like that charge, like that sort of decision, like he wants to be like better at that sort of charge that we were talking about. And I mean, ever since then, he's been more like active in suggesting like things to do, because like that was like a big thing with us. Like we've been dating for 7 years. Things kind of like slow down, obviously. So then we get bored. So then he decided to be more taking the lead in sorts of like taking dates. Like for example, he texted me today like, oh, like this weekend we're going on a date, and I was like, nice. That's a good change.
Nice.
Nice.
To keep it
Oh, that's
fresh
great.
and new.
Love
So
that.
cool.
Yeah.
And Kathy,
so,
you had a question on that. Oh no, please, Camila, go finish, please.
No, go.
ahead.
I'm done.
Okay, no problem. Well, Kathy, you had a question before the show about that. About you had seen like a clip or a reel that I had done about men taking the charge in relationship. Do you want to kind of dive into that a little bit and see what you mean?
Yeah, I feel like there's a thin line between having a supportive partner and being a yes man. I just wanted to cover that, just know your opinions on that, because I feel like, yes, you can, as a woman in relationships, we do feel like we want to have a say, we want to have an opinion about things regarding our relationship, like having expressed ourselves and, what goals we want to set for ourselves in the future as a couple. But having to implement those actions can come across a little bit differently, especially with the conversation of who makes the most money between the two, everything underlying that decision making. So I feel like I wanted to touch that topic and see what your thoughts were.
And specifically around men taking the lead and making decisions, or women taking the lead.
Yeah, so men taking the lead. We can start off there. Yeah, definitely men taking the lead. And what would be your thoughts on a woman having to contribute into those decisions as well?
Before I
Beautiful.
go,
think
does anybody want to take that? Yeah, Francesca, please go ahead.
Yes, I believe it's an amazing point you've made. And it's very important to be a team as a couple. And I strongly believe there are no rules, because every situation, as you just said, is different from each individual and each couple. So to compare couples to others is very wrong, because the reality is different. The experience of relationship is different, and the connection between couples is different. So we cannot compare couples to other couples. I believe it's strictly strictly personal, and so it's very important to have this communication within the two, as you just said. But it's very important to understand that it's not about restrictions and rules for how it has to be. It is about the values you share, what you envision together, and how to make it happen together. So if someone is better on making money and someone else is better on the creative side, then you complement each other. But that doesn't mean that the other one doesn't have to support with money. It means that you find a model, like your own system, your own matrix, where both add value, but is on the same level of effort, which is
As a
can be a
communication.
different field. Sì, brava. It all depends on which vision they want to work on. And because some couples, they want to travel the world, they want to be hippies, and they want to enjoy life. Amazing. Some people, they want to build together amazing projects, and that's another scenario. So it's important communication, and not to have this fear or feeling less or feeling more, because that's lack of love itself. So we cannot blame the external or work or lack of money. The problem is truly spiritual. In this case, it's about the couple lacking love. One of them maybe lack of the lack of self-love. So it's all about feeling the truth of the couple, in my opinion, and make it happen based on values and not rules.
Respectfully, I don't agree with any of that. So
really?
I don't think that there's. I think that largely when somebody says, "Oh, every situation is different, every person is different," I think that largely ignores the millennia of research and all of the data we have on human behavior and the way that humans interact, and especially heterosexual relationships and the dynamics between men and women. Evolutionary psychology, biology, the forces that are played that are innately, deeply hardwired that show us how men and women work together. People are a lot more similar than they are different. People, in my opinion, are like 99% similar, and they're different on the 1%, on the little margins there. So, personally, as far as relationships go, I don't think that a good, successful relationship can exist with a woman who is in the lead dog position. I think that a man has to lead the relationship. I think that a woman who is a trusted advisor, who can offer her opinion, who has earned that right to do so, that's perfectly fine, well and good. But I ultimately think for a relationship to succeed, the man has to have the ultimate authority and essentially make the ultimate decisions of the relationship.
Yes, the ultimate authority, dear Richard, yes. But I believe if men, we know exactly, as you said, because of the millennium of wisdom, that they lack often emotional intelligence. We know.
What is emotional intelligence?
Emotional intelligence means not using only logic for understanding life and situations, but understanding there is more to logic for people's reactions, the behavior of the teamwork, of the team around you, maybe even within the workplace. So the emotions of
Can you give me an example?
Yeah.
Where an emotional response is better than a logical one when it comes to solving a problem?
Yes. For example, let's talk about love in this case. Someone has cheated, and the man says, if she's gonna cheat now, she's always gonna cheat. And your logical side as a man tells you that she's not the one because she's cheating. And we
That's
know
true.
exactly that. But the reality is this person is very insecure, and maybe this man was not giving her enough attention. I'm not justifying, I'm completely against cheating, but just to make you understand the difference between logic and emotional intelligence. So you understand the personal reaction that can be bad, in this case it's cheating, but you know the reason why the person is doing it, because there is a deep insecurity behind. There is maybe a father that was not really present. So for her, this cheating was this continuous search for the man figure that she was lacking in her boyfriend. And again, I'm not justifying, but emotional intelligence in a workplace is fundamental for the overall well-being, where people needs to be heard, even though they're not speaking. You know, the emotional intelligence you get makes you understand people for how they behave. And while
But that
only
doesn't
logic
solve the
doesn't,
problem. That doesn't
feel
solve
like-
the
So-
fact that she
but-
cheated on him. If somebody, hold on, if somebody punches me in the face, it's not my responsibility to ask them, "Oh, are you having a bad day? Why did you do that?" I only care about what happened to me and the result of that. So
but
I
this is
don't
a bit
understand
selfish.
how. What do you mean?
This is a
What's
bit
being
selfish. Okay,
I don't have the
another
right
example.
not to be punched in the face.
Can I give a piece of mind?
Please, Kathy.
Another.
I'm so sorry. I feel like there's a difference in understanding between emotional intelligence and emotional discipline. So like emotional intelligence, I feel in my perspective is the ability to be self-aware of your flaws, of how how you carry yourself, the other person's flaws and how they carry themselves. And emotional discipline is how is what's used when you're carrying yourself within that relationship. How are you attacking that situation? How are you approaching that situation? How are you interpreting your partner when they're expressing themselves or making decisions? Is there any thoughts on that maybe?
Yes,
I just think
believe
this.
emotional discipline.
Go ahead, please.
No, sorry. No, just emotional discipline for me can exist only if you're emotionally intelligent. Also, because what does it mean? Emotional discipline doesn't mean that you have to behave well every time. If you have anger, you have to express it. So for me, discipline is being truthful. There is nothing worse for me than someone that is feeling something and is hiding it just for the discipline that has to be. I believe it's very wrong. Of course, you adapt to the scenario you're living. You're not going to scream if you are in the workplace, but to express anger in a very polite way is very important. So for me, it's correlated the two. Emotional intelligence and discipline
But that's
are
logic.
very deeply.
That's logic. That's not
No.
emotional controls. No, that's logical. If I know that yelling in the workplace is going to lead to some sort of disciplinary action or it's going to get me in trouble, I do not do that thing. That is a logical process. It's all inputs and outputs.
It's all connected at the end, but the root of it is being emotionally intelligent, to know that you have to express what you feel, because it's gonna be good to be vulnerable, because that's the real strength. That's not so much logic, because logic could tell you, oh, if I say this, they're gonna see me vulnerable. Doesn't work. I have to be strong. And so your logic puts you in there, focusing in there, but doesn't allow you to be vulnerable, because your logical side is telling you it's gonna be fine. Just don't say it. Don't do it. You become like a robot.
Yeah, I'm not getting this because
I don't know what to say. Spencer, please. I mean, I'm
I think that a
flabbergasted.
good way to like maybe explain, I think like, for example, sometimes maybe my boyfriend will get like, will have something that maybe I'm doing or something and it's bothering him, but he rather not like talk about it that much. Like he will just kind of like, whatever, like I'll keep taking it or whatever. And then maybe one day, I keep noticing like he's, having this attitude or something. And I feel like the woman side of the decision making, like the whole sort of emotional intelligence comes in there, because then I will ask him, is something wrong? And then he'll be like, no, nothing's wrong. And I'm like, well, I think something's wrong. Like we need to talk about it. Right. And I feel like that is kind of like the emotional intelligence thing, where like a woman is more likely to like take note of like small little things like that. Meanwhile,
Yes.
like a man, if something's like maybe wrong with me, a man is like less likely to think of like a nuanced behavior or something and then ask me like, what's wrong? You know what I mean? Like a man will only really ask what's wrong if you're like straight up giving him the silent treatment or something. And I think that's
It's
kind
more
of like
about
the emotional
intuition.
intelligence thing. It's like, I feel like women have like that sort of intuition where they can kind of tell simply from like little behaviors or maybe like the tone of voice.
And
I feel like
all of
men are
this
less
can be
likely.
explained.
The thing I'm really not getting here is even if I pick up on the little things to realize that something's bugging you, or if I voice my opinion or my feelings in a certain way to be emotionally intelligent, this scenario that we just brought up of my woman cheating on me, we're still breaking up.
No. Of course. I mean,
cheating.
I was not talking about
We
that.
can cheat, guys. cheating in terms of cheating, lying, or saying something that is not truthful, but you know that the person is deeply insecure, is not cheating, only kissing or having. For me, cheating is not only within, sexual experiences. For me, cheating is even hiding the truth. For me, cheating is telling someone something and telling something else to someone else. So cheating for me is lying, fundamentally. And I believe if you understand why someone is behaving this way, instead of judging the person, because people cheat everywhere. Why? Because they're judged, they're criticized every day. So instead of being criticized, they prefer to cheat, to lie. And that's wrong. That's because people are not emotionally intelligent enough to understand that the person is suffering and is hiding his true self. And
So it's
so
the
your
man's fault.
intuition, no, but you don't have to take it so personally to the point that you say, your logical side, no, this is no good for me, you are done. Then you don't allow people to express their vulnerability, because vulnerability comes from being heard. So emotional intelligence helps, thanks to your intuition, to allow people to be free, to set free. And we live in a systematic world where only logic is functioning and not emotional intelligence enough.
I feel like in the midst of you getting to know somebody romantically, you're already setting your boundaries. You're setting, where your head is at, what your goal is with that person. Once you come to that agreement, if you just turn around and just do something different and act different other than the agreement that you had with your partner, I feel like that would be cheating. Because it's like, hey, you wanted to be monogamous. You came into this you came and got to know me with the intention of being monogamous, and now you're choosing to see other partners without even talking to me about it or letting me know, hey, like I want us to be open. That's something that got to be addressed in the beginning too. Like, I'm okay with having an open relationship or having, my man date elsewhere, as long as we have that communication and he's being safe and we're in a respectful level, like, it's an agreement between two people. So I feel
need to
like
go back.
It's an
Go ahead,
agreement.
finish your thought.
An agreement.
Finish your thought,
Absolutely.
Kath. Yeah. I need to go back to what Camila was saying, because everything we're talking about is fundamentally rooted in logic, and I'll tell you why. The idea that women are more in tune with their emotions and they're governed by their emotions, or they're able to pick up on nuances that men generally aren't, all stems from a biological need to survive. It's all biological. It's all evolutionary psychology and biology. It comes from a survival mechanism. Women, on average, mostly are not as big or as strong or as capable as men. If you go back 50,000 years or whatever it might be, women not good at confrontation. They're not the warriors. They're not out the ones that are marching. They're not out the ones that are fighting. They're protected. They're taking care of the home. They're taking care of the tribe, the home base, whatever that might be. So because if they found themselves in a precarious situation where the threat of physical violence is very apparent or reality, it's over for them. So it behooved them to evolve over time to learn how to pick up on nuances and sense danger. It behooved them to become more in tune to little subtle things that men generally won't pick up on, because men didn't have a reason to. Men would just fight. They enjoy confrontation. Men are hardwired to it. And all of that is hardwired and rooted in basic biological fact. It has nothing, I mean, you can call it emotional intelligence, whatever you want to call it, but the simple fact of the matter is, the way that humans are governed and the reason we are the way that we are is all rooted in logic. And I never want to live in a world where we are prioritizing emotions driving behaviors and decision-making, because emotions are fickle. Emotions can change on a dime. You can be mad, happy,
Absolutely.
sad, frustrated. Okay. And if that's the case, if emotions can turn on a dime, then why should we make any decisions based on emotion if they're so fickle? 2 plus 2 is always going to equal 4. Hold on. 2 plus 2 is always going to equal 4, no matter how you feel about it.
Yes, absolutely. But we need both. You made an amazing point. We need both. We need logic and emotional intelligence, because emotional intelligence,
That's not
emotion
the point I
means
I'm saying emotional intelligence has no place in decision making. I'm not saying
I believe even when you do trading, it's
it.
About the emotional intelligence of the systematic approach to the trading. When you do trading, if you're not emotionally intelligent to understand the market, you're going to be fucked.
That's
if you follow only
logic. You
logic,
don't need emotion.
no, it's not.
Math is
No,
logic.
it's
Math
not
has nothing to do with emotion.
It's not only
math.
yes, no, because the people behind have emotions. They feel the struggle and they put lots of money, and so you basically it takes so much more work to understand emotional intelligence than only logic, because logic makes you see one way and makes you see only what you see. The emotional intelligence makes you see beyond the market. There are people, investing money, and they're sweating because they are investing money. So if you understand what's behind, you understand if this trading is going to go well or bad, because you see the reactions of people and you see how much money they're putting in it. Also, it's all about the emotions. The truth is, this world is all about the emotions, but thanks to logic we can calm them down and we can find a balance. But without the emotions, only logic, we would live in a robotic system, which is the end of humanity.
I
I
want
know
to add to
many
the
guys who have lost tons of money in the market
Jada.
because
I want to
they
add to
felt
the
that something was they were going to make money on something. They felt like the market was going to go a certain way, but that doesn't change what's actually going to happen. If you win 4 hands in a row in
Yeah.
blackjack, you're going to feel like you're on a hot streak, and that 5th hand you're going to win. But that 5th hand, you
called
have
the hot
no
hand
better
fallacy.
chance of winning.
Yeah, it's called the hot hand fallacy.
I want to add to that evolutionary thing, in the sense of, women versus men and how they make decisions. I saw this little study of little kids. They had like a little group of boys and girls, and then a lady came in with this Jello, and she wanted all the kids to try it, and then she put salt in it, and then when she gave it to the kids, when the little girls had a bite of it, they were like, "Oh, it's good," like, because they didn't want to hurt her feelings, right? But when the boys ate it, they were just like, "This sucks. This tastes like crap." Yeah, like they were like just straight up telling it to her face, like, "This sucks. What do you put in this?" Right? And that is, I think, the emotional thing. And I think that's an evolutionary thing that like women have, because women are more like group animals. Like they find like the security, the safety in like a group. And like if you're going to be in a group, you want the group to like you, because that kind of plays into how you survive in the world, right? And that's why women are more pleasing to like, like if someone has like a booger in like their nose, like a man's more likely to be like, "Hey, you got a booger in your nose." A woman's more likely to be like, "Hey, you should probably go to the bathroom."
So
and
do you
check.
feel like women logically are structured around group thinking more than men? Do you feel like men are more not logical? Let me
Yes.
change the wording on
Absolutely.
that.
A
Women
woman-
are more fixated on group thinking, rather than men are very logical when they attack situations. Versus us, we're emotional because of our biological makeup. Do you feel like that also play a role in it? Because I feel like our biological makeup makes us see the world and see situations differently than a man would.
Yeah,
because of their
I feel like that
biological
even plays, not to get political, but that kind of
Yeah.
plays into politics. Like the fact that, do you see the election results? Like the majority of people that voted blue were women and gay men, actually, which is like feminine men. And this is like a feminine trait. Like a woman is more likely to feel compassion in this sort of way of like, I don't know, feeling for others in this sort of way. Like, oh, like if for example, if a TV tells a group of people, a group of men and a group of women, these people are suffering. Women are more, and they look around and they see everyone agree. They're more likely to agree. A man is more likely to be. Is that true?
That's society.
Are they actually suffering? That is more of a manly trait.
Oh, go ahead, Jada.
I believe
Jada,
everyone
please.
is different.
I say that I think that from the studies I've done, that's due to survival. Women know that if you get sorted out of the group, you will not survive, so they will follow, which is why married women typically do vote red or conservative, especially if their men are, because we naturally cling on to whoever we're following, which means we are following the leader. And I hear a lot of emotional intelligence, but just because we are more emotionally intuitive does not mean that that's intelligent. I would disagree with that. Just because you're actually more easy to manipulate if you're emotional, you can see that women are the shoppers.
It's the opposite, baby. If you're emotionally aware, you are not easy to manipulate.
Well, I would just disagree.
How so?
You can think that you're
Sorry,
emotionally
Jada,
because you are emotional intelligence, you understand the energy motion, which is manipulation. Only logic which is the case of many people we know, even politicians, they use only logic.
There's
and
a
they are
reason
deeply
when they do
manipulate-
there's a reason when they give IQ tests to find out how smart you are. They look at IQ tests and logic and pattern recognition. They don't ask you how you're feeling today, and that means if you're angry, sad, or smart. They're not asking
but because
hold on. They're not asking you how smart you feel. It's all
But
about
are we
can
talking
you
about-
put things together. But you're using
Yes,
the
are
word
we talking-
intelligence. Using
See,
the word
because we are
intelligence.
talking about the office scenario against life scenario. We cannot put all scenarios in the same place. If you're working at the office, you need logic. If you need to experience life, you need to be emotionally drawn into the scenario of life. That's how you truly experience life. Only logic, you feel nothing, you see nothing. So I believe we need
true.
both, guys. What are we
Guys-
talking about?
Jada, please
Could
continue.
I say something? I want to say I went really viral for saying this, but I believe it's God over man, man over woman, women over the children, and I believe that our emotional intelligence is just for the children, because even right now, like having a niece, like if you hear certain cries, it's like you're intuitive to that. Do I think to take that out into the world and think because God appointed me head of the children and using those emotions to be intuitive to protect them? Should I bring that into the world and say, yeah, I can use this into my relationship and lead? Absolutely not. I just don't think so, because if you notice, a lot of women, and I coach these women get diagnosed with mental illnesses more than men, twice more than men, and with BPD. BPD is emotional immaturity. If you want to just break it down, after everything I've studied on it, it's just having a lack of emotional intelligence. So the fact that we get diagnosed with that twice more than men does not mean that because we're more emotionally intuitive, that means to take it out into our relationships. In fact, I think it's destroying a lot of relationships, and that's why there needs to be a submission to a man. And I actually communicate with my men like this: hey, I'm feeling this way. These are emotions that I'm feeling. I need your help to actually decipher if I'm making like logical sense, and can you help me bring reasoning into this? And then he takes in my emotions, like he's listening to how I'm feeling, and he's able to be like, okay, like this was a little dramatic, like, but I get the root of what you're saying, and I'm going to walk you through it. Just being real. I'm not trying to say I'm like, dumb without my man, but I do need my man because my emotions actually can deceive me. So
Have a balance.
that's
But
where we rely on.
I want to say this, and then I want to get to Jackie really quick because she's been very patient and polite. But no, I don't think anybody's saying on this panel the idea that you can only have logic or emotions. I think that's not what we're saying.
it's
I'm not.
both,
I
guys.
think no. What I'm saying is that if we're talking about the best way to make decisions and make good, solid, sound decisions that work and end with the good desired result, then there's no planet where making decisions based on emotions first is going to beat making decisions based on logic. I'm not saying live a life void of emotion. I think emotion is great. I think it's great to be happy. I think it's a gift to feel emotions. We're not robotic. But if we're talking about making decisions that are for the benefit of our people or our relationship or ourselves, the only method that we can and should use is logic. It's a scientific method. I mean, it's the best documented and most well-proven method that we have or that's ever been discovered. Not I'm making a decision based on what I feel, because feelings are fickle. You might be making a
it's
decision based on
different,
being
guys.
mad.
Sorry. Yes, but we cannot. Feeling is one thing. Emotion are not the same. The feeling is in a moment how you feel. The emotion is what you are. You are made of energy, Muff. Imagine you are an emotion. You are energy in motion. You walk, your presence walk, and there is energy
That's
around
not what
you, your
emotion
aura.
means.
Emotion is energy in motion. It's Latin. Emozione. Energy in motion. Emotion. It's energy. You are an emotion. You are an emotion, Muff.
No, I'm a person.
Neglecting.
I'm a human being.
No. Human beings are made of energy, which means energy, emotion. Feeling is one thing.
I don't even
Emotion
agree
is
with
another
that,
thing.
but okay.
Vabbè, we can go deeper if you want separately, but that's the reality. And so if you neglect the beauty of emotions, means that if it's only based on
Francesca,
on
nobody's
logic.
saying that. I already said.
No, okay.
We're not
But
talking about a
logic
life
is the
void of
brain.
emotion.
The brain absorbs information from the outside. The emotions is what you are. So if you don't combine the two, any
That
decision
doesn't make
you make,
sense, Francesca.
any decision you
I
make,
can't.
I know
Spencer,
you don't
can't-
understand,
I
Muff.
can't
but
deal with his psychobabble. It's been 40 minutes. Like we're not
know.
getting anywhere. This idea, like
I know.
all of
I know.
the only way.
I'm
hold
sorry
on,
you don't
the only
understand,
way
Muff.
you process emotion
Yeah.
or process anything is through your brain. You can't sit here and say logic is for the
No,
brain
through
and
your
emotions
gut,
is for something
through your
else.
heart, through your heart,
Your
through
heart
your
pumps
gut,
blood.
through your
That's all it
penis.
does.
The
The
heart pump.
emotions, you feel them all over your body, not only through your brain. The
But
brain
they come from
absorbs from the
signals
external.
in your brain.
Do you know about chakras? I don't want to go too deep because maybe you don't know many. Say, do you know about chakras or not?
I don't believe in any of
Okay.
that. I think it's
And
nonsense.
so
Jackie.
there is no reason to talk then, Muff. Sorry.
Okay.
Okay.
Jackie, what do you think
Perfect.
about all this?
I think that men and women complement each other perfectly. There needs to be one clear leader and one clear follow, and everybody feels better. A man feels better when he's being a man. A woman feels better when she's being a woman. We're not interchanging each other's roles, which gets confusion and resentment. And I think it needs to be clear who's the leader. And I think that too many women act like men.
Yeah.
Real.
There you go.
I feel like
Spence. Oh, please.
We took a long
go
way
ahead.
around
I
the
have-
sun, but
Muff,
we
I
got
suggest
back.
you anyways to go deeper into this
Hold on.
matter because it's what
I
you
had-
are. Then you do what you want.
yeah.
Kathy, go ahead.
I had a friend that she opened up to me and she told me, and shout out to her, she's amazing. We had a conversation about that actually, about women having to be very dominated within their lives, within relationships. And she expressed that she feels that whenever she's in a relationship with a person who just doesn't take the lead, who's very like soft spoken, she feels like she has to be demanding, she has to fulfill that role of being a leader. And oftentimes there's women who just want to take a break from that. They want to take a break from being so dominant all the time. They don't want to be, I feel like there's like women just don't want to always be in that masculine energy at all times. I feel like that's kind of going back to like how like the biological makeup of us, like, you know, since we carry children, you know, we have certain types of hormones to be able to carry those children and be able to nurture the children, and you know, and having like these symptoms and these emotions is very overwhelming for us. But men, they're able to see more logically because they don't have these underlying things that can eventually, you know, seep into those type of decisions when we're in that mode, you know. So having to just take a break from having to be logical all the time, especially when we have all these overwhelming things going on inside of us, I feel like a lot of women has opened up to me about that, and they feel like when they're in a relationship with a man, they would rather the man take the lead and be able to just have that strong spine, that strong voice, that strong opinion, you know, instead of us having to do it all the time, because it does get tiring.
It's because you're at war with your nature. It's not in female nature to be leaders. It's not in female nature.
I don't
to be
agree, Max.
running
What are
into
you
the
saying?
breach.
It's not
not
true
in
at
female
all.
nature. It's never been.
I know amazing women leaders, including me. What are you talking? I gathered 400 people during one event. I'm a leader, and I'm a fucking feminine woman. I'm not masculine
I don't
at
think
all.
you're feminine at all.
So-
I think you're extremely masculine.
Okay.
I think the way that you've been acting
Okay.
on this podcast and the way you've interrupted
believe-
people and the way you've cursing at
but you
people is
told
very
us-
I'm gonna tell you
masculine.
what I mean.
You
by that,
told
like,
us to interrupt and to be free. That's why I'm
No,
doing
but
it.
I'm saying I think the way that you're acting is very masculine. I think everybody in the comments
See,
would
because
agree
we
as well.
have, I know you don't believe in energy, but we have masculine
No,
and
that's not what
feminine.
I
And
said.
a real feminine as a masculine, the balance between the masculine, because a woman can be a leader. We need more leaders, women, than men.
No,
I'm sorry.
why?
Yes.
I'm gonna
Yes.
tell you what I mean by
Why?
that.
What?
Yes,
I work
because
in
you
a
only,
place.
because I know amazing men that can be leaders, but women have
So-
an intuition that
at
can be very
Ulta.
powerful.
I work at Ulta, and every single person in power at Ulta is a woman. And I'm gonna say one thing about that whole situation. There is so much people that get hired and then they just leave. And it's like the cycle is so much. And I'm gonna tell you why. Like, we have so many people that we hire, and we think to ourselves, like me and this other girl that I'm friends with, like, how did they hire this girl? Because it'll be the type of person that I'm thinking, like, I mean, this person can't even like organize a shelf properly, like, without you being constantly like, do it right, do it right, do it right. And it's because when the interview comes, the girl will be like, oh, I just love makeup and my life. I just want to work with makeup. And then the person who's interviewing is another woman. She's like, oh, that's so sweet. You know, I also love makeup. And then they'll hire them, but like they won't think of something like, is this person like, can this person organize a shelf? Like, can this person do this? Like, they'll think of it more like, oh, I like her. She was really nice during the interview. And then they'll hire them, and then they're like not able to fulfill their duties, and then they get fired. And it's constantly that cycle. So I think that, you know, whenever we got a male manager, I'm like, in a way, thank God.
So
We really
I
do need that sort of balance. Like, just women, it's a pain. It's always some
Of course,
drama.
we need a
I need
balance.
to.
There's
I just need to
always
piggyback off
someone.
of that. Yeah. So what I mean with what I said is, us women, I admire women who just go out there and, you know, broadcast, you know, their business. They go ahead and make all of these interviews. They go on TV and speak about their careers, their you know, what their motivations were. Like, I want to give an example. Clarissa Shields, she's a gold medalist Olympian, and she's a
Yeah.
professional boxer, and I just watch her just doing her thing, just, you know, being in her element, and because she just loves doing what she does. And having to just see like women in sports, women in MMA, women, and that's another controversial topic. A lot of people talk about women in MMA and how it's a very, very male dominated field. But at the end of the day, once we go ahead and do our thing and be, you know, the alpha women that we want to be, we want to come home and submit and just calm down and just relax and just be vulnerable with somebody that can understand that and can just be able to just do the rest at home. Like, okay, you know, babe, like I went ahead and I did this for you, or like, you know, I'm gonna go ahead and, you know, make this move to buy a house for us, and, you know, I'm gonna go ahead and um you know, pay these bills and do these things, you know, like just a man that can be able to take initiative when we come home gives us like a, I feel like a lot of women feel like it can give us just a break from having to be so dominant throughout our days, even through
Certo,
through
that's
our
important.
careers.
Yeah, I think
Can
there's a difference
That's
between
important.
being a leader in like a business, like, oh, like I have my own business or something, then also being a leader in a relationship. Like, I feel like that's like two
Brava.
separate things. Like, I think you
That's
can be definitely a woman that has her own business, is a leader for like maybe other employees. But when
Absolutely.
it comes to being in a relationship, I feel like the man has to have the charge. Obviously, I do also think that in a business, there needs to be some sort of balance because, again, I work with women, it's all women, it's a headache most of the times because no woman can just not freak out over what's, oh no, but she said this. Like, how many
Yeah,
times have I heard that my
I've
manager
heard
said
this as
this
well.
about me, and now I have to like talk to that manager and be like, dude, come on, man, like, what are you talking about me? It's always something, and it's no, but
It's
you, and then it's
gossipy, it's
feelings.
catty,
Yeah, it's always
a lot of
that's just how
cattiness
we are.
sometimes.
So
Yeah,
can
Hold
I
on,
but
hold
io
on.
add?
Jada,
it's also
please.
important.
Hold
Sì,
on,
just
Francesca.
to finish.
Jada.
Vai.
It was Jada.
Yeah.
Jada. I want Jada to comment.
As beautiful as that sounds, if we look at the divorce and women, let's like just be honest, they're the ones filing for divorce. Like, I think it's like 80% of the time at this point. A majority of those women are career women. So I think coming home after doing these really intense jobs that are really meant for, some of these spaces are meant really for men to take on that type of stress, and then you come home and your man wants dinner, or you have children that you have to tend to, and then you're looking at your man and you're trying to put him in a feminine role because now you're in a masculine role and he doesn't feel respected, and now your arguments look like this. That's
Mm.
why divorces happen, and then the woman always leaves because it's like, I can do everything without you, and then you're coming in wanting me to submit to you or respect you or X, Y, and Z. God forbid he makes less money than her. It really doesn't work out. And so realistically, as beautiful as that you make that sound, and we're looking like, oh, I love that you're, realistically, those women that get in marriages are highly likely to get divorced. So it doesn't it doesn't work, I think, for the traditional roles.
Yes,
Yeah,
I believe a real woman leader is someone that is a leader for a tribe, a family. So the leader is not only in the business, it's about life, it's about people. There is not only business and logic in life, there is love, there is connection, there is leading a tribe, such as a family. And you made an amazing point.
women don't lead tribes. What is this? Women don't
The
lead
tribe
families.
is a
They don't
family.
lead
Your
tribes. But
family
women's
is a
not
tribe.
a woman is not the leader.
Muff, but
ever.
first of all, I believe you are like this because I touched a very weak point in you, and maybe you grown up with parents that neglected your emotions. I'm very sorry, Muff, but I can truly feel your vulnerable side, and
God,
you are going
great.
cuckoo because I say something you don't understand. Maybe I'm so
No,
sorry.
Francesca, I'm
Muff.
not going cuckoo at all. This is just very funny.
But you look very upset,
I will
so
say,
I'm
no,
sorry
I'm
if
not
I
upset
touched
at all.
something.
No, see,
Okay.
you guys see this? Hold on.
No,
I want
because
everybody. I
you
want
look
everybody
very
to see
upset.
this. I want everybody to see this. Do you see what the women do when you say something and you disagree with them? This is the who hurt you. This
Not
is
at all. I love it. I love confrontation.
I must have touched a nerve, or I must have hurt you, or your parents must have neglected you. These are the manipulation tactics they try to play to get you on your heels. And
you
on
are
the
manipulating. You told me.
This is just very funny. I got to mute you because I'm still talking. But if you're seeing how this is playing out in real time, I hope all the guys that are watching this are paying attention. And like Francesca, you're muted. I mean, and I'll unmute you here in a second. Hold on, you're still muted. I see you talking. You're muted. But my point is this. Let's be realistic. Like, top shelf men don't want boss babe women that are in highly masculine fields, that are going out there and wearing their pantsuit and running the boardroom and then are coming home. Because yes, to Jada's point, this fairy tale idea that you're going to be able to go in there and be a corporate boss babe, and you're going to be able to boss men around, and you're going to be able to do that 40 hours a week. And then you're just going to be able to flip the switch when you get home. And now all of a sudden you're Mrs. Mom and you're feminine and you're nurturing, you're taking care of things. It's not the reality of how it works. And there's studies and there's research that's even come out in the last couple of years that shows that the women, the higher they climb in the corporate ladder, the more alone they ultimately are, because they don't have colleagues and peers that are on their level, and they don't have men that are high enough that are going to take them seriously because they're making too much money. And they're obsessed with this idea of chasing money and success and being this feminine boss or being this boss babe or whatever. And they're it's ultimately to their detriment. So it's all a fairy tale. Francesca,
it's a
you're off mute.
sacrifice.
I believe in fairy tales.
I can tell.
To be honest, I believe a
no
lot.
surprise
I live
there.
a fairy tale life. I have a tribe. So for
Well,
you,
said
Mark,
you're in love with somebody
understand.
who you've never met. That sounds like a huge fairy tale. I don't even know what that
Yes,
means.
it is. It is an amazing fairy tale, and it is a better fairy tale, of course, when you advance in love. So it's all about stages. But if you say a woman cannot have a tribe, so then a woman, what is for you, Muff? Sorry.
Children.
What is for
Children and
what
taking
is a
care of the
mother for you?
home.
No, what is a woman for you? If it's not about the tribe, the family, the people, what is a woman for you?
It's not what I said. See, you're letting your emotions get in the way of logic.
No,
I'm
this
saying
is not
that
an emotion.
women are not.
This is logic.
Very
I'm
much
asking
is.
based on logic. Mamma mia, Master, you are going to
What's the
farm, in
question?
my opinion.
What's the question?
The question is, I said before, a woman is about creating a tribe, such as a family. And you said a tribe, what is a tribe?
But
no,
you
just
can't
understand your
create a
point.
family by yourself. Women can't just women don't create
But of course, we
tribes
didn't say
alone
this.
by
But why
solo.
did you? What you don't understand about the tribe meaning? I'm curious.
What do you mean? You said
This
tribe.
is now.
What's your
Yes,
definition
tribe.
of tribe?
Moff understands
Yes.
it. Moff said that women
No, I
don't
want to go
lead
deep in this
tribes.
because it's very
He didn't
interesting,
say
to
that
be
he
honest.
doesn't understand what a tribe is. He understands that tribe.
Yeah,
is
I'm saying women
No.
aren't the
people,
leaders of the
family,
tribe.
but generally, men lead those.
Why
roles.
you said women cannot be the leader of the tribe? Maybe I misunderstood. I'm asking you.
Because they're not
what did
good
you
at
say?
it. Because they're not good at
Why?
it. Because the decision making
experience
process.
do you have of life, Maf?
But
Because the
there's no
decision-making process-
country
hold
in
on,
the
Camille.
world except elephants that are led by women. Every society ever in all of all the countries in the world, none have a structure societally that women are at the top of the family tree, and
Name
then
a
men are
single
here.
patriarchy that's ever survived and has lived to stand the test of time.
Yeah,
and
the
exists
only
today.
one is elephants, and that's not a human being.
It's absurd that a man in this case, Muff says that a woman cannot lead a tribe. What are you talking about? But anyways,
Give me an example. If I'm
it-
incorrect, give me an example.
even this, for example, is a tribe. No, just for you to make the concept of the tribe, gathering people. A woman
Now you're
is
changing
amazing
definitions. I thought you said a
on
tribe was a
gathering.
family.
A tribe can be the tribe has many
And
different
Spencer
meanings.
got everybody here.
Don't
not
use
you.
the logic.
Spencer
Use
gathered. If this is
use
the tribe,
use
if this is the tribe,
visualization.
Spencer
Muff,
did it, not you.
don't use logic for everything. Use visualization. A tribe are a group of people, so can be a family, can be a group of friends, can be a group of people working for the same matter. The tribe is the gather of people together.
If you create the definition to make it fit whatever you want, then you can make anything sound anything. If you can make the definition of tribe fit whatever narrative you want, then you're never going to lose an argument.
But how can
if
you
we
say
can't
a
agree on
woman
the
cannot build a
definitions-
tribe? Where does it come from? Your knowledge of
the
a woman
idea that
cannot.
there's not a single society that's ever been female-led that still exists today, and I'm asking you to
But
provide
it's-
me an example of one
Even
that
a
exists and
family
prove me wrong.
is fed by the mother, by the breast that she gives. It
That's
starts with a mother
biology.
feeding.
That's
Fed.
not
It's
that's-
biology.
It's biology.
A woman is feeding.
You're not
A woman
leading.
is gathering. A woman.
Feeding is not leading.
That's just
Mamma mia, I'm so
contributing.
ignorant. I cannot listen to this, ti giuro, like it's impossible for me. Anyways, let's change topic because it's better.
I mean, I don't know why we keep getting hung up on this. I mean, I
But
I
because
asked
a
you for
man,
an example because I'm saying.
how
I'm
old are
saying
you? How
women-
old are you, Muff? How old are you?
So do
Why
you
is that
feel like
relevant?
women
Because the
love-
experience of your life is not full. I'm sorry.
So-
You cannot say a woman cannot lead a
What age
tribe.
would be appropriate for you to think?
But who
that I
do you
have enough
think?
life
Like,
experience?
do you think women and men are?
Hold on.
They have to be a team. There is no better and
No.
less. Exactly. So
This is perfect,
why do you
Spencer.
say a
Get ready to
man?
get that queued up. Hold on. I want to answer this question. First of all,
yeah.
my age is irrelevant, but let me ask you this. What age would you like me to be at? What age is it necessary for you to
No,
think
the
that I know what
age
I'm
makes me
talking
feel that the experience of life you have. Because if you are
about? So
22,
my age is
is one
irrelevant.
thing. Your age makes me feel the experience. I don't want to ask you for the experience of life. Maybe we don't want to talk about this now. So
What
the age
age
makes
would be
me.
sufficient to you? If I told you I was 45, is that old enough?
I would say that you have a problem, Muff. Sì. Sorry, Vita.
What are you talking about?
You
You're saying
cannot
you're
say
asking
a
how old I am.
woman,
Let's back up.
a woman,
Please,
a
go ahead.
woman, someone saying a woman doesn't lead a tribe, for me, someone very ignorant. I'm sorry.
But here's the thing. You keep saying I'm ignorant. I don't know what I'm talking about. And I've asked you multiple
No,
times. and I'll
related to
ask you-
this.
Francesca, stop interrupting. My goodness. What I'm saying is I've asked you to provide one example that proves me wrong. Give me an example of a single matriarchy, a female-led society that still exists today that was not wiped out. You can't name
Many
it.
men have
doesn't
been paid
exist.
out. It's not.
It doesn't
it's not
exist.
about
I'm
famous.
saying
I know
women are not
amazing
good
women
leaders.
leading tribes in Africa. I know amazing women leading tribes in Japan. I know amazing
Name
women
one.
because you don't know them. You don't know
Name
them,
one.
Muff. You
Name a
don't know
tribe in
them.
Africa led by women. please.
Muff,
Name one.
do you think? Do you
name
think? You don't know
Just
them.
making things up.
I will show you their
So this
profiles.
is like
don't
this
worry.
is like the
So you
kids
can
that went to
understand.
we went to high school with kids like this. You'd be like,
Let's
oh yeah,
change
man,
topic
my
because,
I
girlfriend's-
believe that there
hold on,
is
hold on,
some
hold on,
tribes.
hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. This is the equivalent of going to high school and you talking to a kid. He's like, hey man, why don't you have a girlfriend? It's like, yeah, I do have a girlfriend. She's super hot. She goes to another school. You don't know her. That's what we're doing here. That's literally what's happening. And I'm asking you to name an example, but you can't. And now you're talking about Africa.
No, because
or
you
Japan
don't know
or
them. I
whatever.
don't wanna, sorry, in this channel, I don't wanna mention their names, if you don't mind. Sorry. First of all.
How
Second of
convenient
all,
for you.
But if you bring up a
no,
topic,
yes,
think
I
you
don't
should
want
give
to.
a good
It's,
examples.
it's about the
not gonna
meaning.
give
It's not
examples. She
about
doesn't have
name
it.
and surnames. I'm sorry. I don't like
Because
to
they're
talk
not
about
real.
names. Yes.
I think
I
that there
agree.
might be like a tribe that's led by
Camila,
women
go
in
ahead.
Africa. But like I think there might be a
This one
tribe
includes-
But
led by
not
women
only in
in
Africa,
Africa.
even in
Maybe
London,
if-
guys.
if
What are you
But-
talking about?
everywhere we find one,
Wow.
there's still
Why am I here?
99 million
But
more.
I think that that's mainly like a
Everywhere
tribe
in
that's
the world,
women
guys,
by women. Like,
not only
I don't
Lon-
think that a woman can lead a tribe that has men in it. Because usually, like I've seen documentaries of like women from tribes in Africa that flee the tribes because they're getting raped, who knows, like they're getting abused, and then they have to make up their own tribe by separate where it's all women. But any man that is raised in that tribe ends up leaving the tribe because they don't want to be led by women, because men want to have their own tribe in a way. So I think that like I think it's possible that there might be a tribe led by women, but it's all women. It's not like
It's
men
back
and
to what
women.
Maf was saying, the innate instinct, that
Because
genetic.
it's not about power. It's about a woman that can lead because she has the heart to do it. It's not about, oh my gosh, she's leading, I want the power. Guys, it's not about seeking power. It's about
Leading
making it
is
happen.
power.
Not
Leading is
see,
power.
but not the one you're seeking. A woman in general is embracing everyone, while many men, I'm not saying I love men. For me, the masculine is very important and the feminine too. For me, both are important. There is no difference of gender. So I believe a woman puts much more heart than men often in leading in certain situations, like in certain difficulties and in certain. But to be honest, guys, I don't want to talk about it anymore. You can ask whatever you want.
I'm having a great time. Spencer, you want to pull that clip up? Because this is a perfect time, actually.
On the adores.
No, on adores and adorees. And this is a good time for everybody to get a drink. But I want everybody to watch this. This is our good friend, Dr. Taraban said something, and this is making the rounds, and a lot of people are mad in the comments. So, whenever you're ready, pull that up.
It's not possible for two people to like each other exactly the same amount, which means that one person must always like the other person more, and the other person must like the other person less. These things change. They generally don't change like this, but the gap can go up and down. One person is generally the adorer, and the other person is the adored. The person up here on the pedestal is the adored. Now, there are pros and cons to both of these positions. It's not like one is better than the other. And in fact, most people, contrary to popular belief, here, they want to be the adorer, because the adorer gets to be with the one they love. And there's no greater victory in popular culture than that. And when you're with the one that you love, you get to experience the panoply of human emotions that comes with that. And not even all the good ones. Like, the adorer is the one who gets to have the emotional experience. On the other hand, the adored gets to be loved by the one that they're with. Not nearly as emotionally compelling a situation. While most people want the emotional component of a relationship, in my experience, it's more important for the woman to have that than the man. It's been said that you can make a woman feel anything except bored, and I think that there's some truth to that. And if a man insists that he is going to put the woman on the pedestal, it robs her of the opportunity to be the adorer. If he's looking up at her, that she's looking down at him. And that's not what women want. No little girl grows up dreaming, well, one day I want a guy that I can look down on. It's not possible for two people to like each other exactly the same
All right, I think we're good, Spencer.
which means that one person must always like.
So sorry about the little background music on that clip, but I want to get all the ladies' response to that. And let's hear some folks that we haven't heard from as much. Jackie, what do you think? Why don't we start with you? With the adorer versus the adoree.
I think that both of them are powerful positions because you can't really have one without the other. I definitely think that when women are bonding to men, it's not as important how he looks. It's more important what his character is and what his values are. For men, it's more important about how the woman looks. And so I think that it's a beautiful complementary relationship. I definitely feel like, in my experience, I've had it both ways, where I was the adored versus the adorer. And as a woman, I definitely prefer being the one that is chased after versus the one doing the chasing. And it definitely feels more natural to be more of the receiver than that giver role.
Can I piggyback off of that?
Please.
So I that actually reminds me of a video that you posted about how women carry themselves on social media, and you wouldn't go for a woman who carries themselves sexually appealing, as like just like, you know, having to show off a lot and just show, because it, like, I feel like, because in a sense it just shows that they're broadcasting themselves without, I guess, what's considered morals, or is not broadcasting themselves in a respectful way. Like they're carrying themselves in a way where the way they're projecting themselves is how they want people to treat them and see them. So I feel like the way a woman carries herself, and how like that can also be visually appealing for the male eye as well. Just not even how she looks, like her physical features, but just the way her mannerisms, the way she speaks, the way she interacts with people, the way she speaks for herself, you know.
Yeah, I mean, you can learn a lot about a woman by looking at her social media, the things that she's
But I feel like that
posting.
goes like that for men too.
How
No, I
so?
don't believe through social media you understand nothing, in my opinion.
Kathy, what do you mean it goes for men too? What do you mean by that?
Well, for us women, well, I want to speak for myself. When I look at a man, like, yeah, I see a man being like having all the attractive qualities, right? Let's just say they have big, beautiful eyes, and they have like this really nice muscular body. They're very built. You know, they constantly, you know, they have the discipline to go to the gym and take care of themselves. To me, that will be attractive, because it's like, okay, I see that you care about your well-being, you care about your health, you care about your hygiene, but I want to see what's there mentally. How do you perceive situations? How do you how do you interpret certain topics, or like how when someone speaks to you, how do you take it in? How do you process that? You know, and I feel like that's what also makes a man more attractive in my opinion, as a woman. And based on like me speaking to men and their opinions on what they look for in a woman, is, yeah, the physical aspects are great and all, it's a bonus, but men are also looking for women. I feel like the men that I've spoken to are looking for women who can also carry themselves in a respectful manner, in their what they consider to be a respectful manner, because I feel like respect can also be subjective in today's society.
Yeah. Beautiful point. Right?
Yeah, I mean, look, like men are far more in tune with the physical and, you know, what women are presenting themselves, or the beauty aspect. You know, I generally agree with this term, and this is something we made up. This is the work of Dr. Warren Farrell and Jada. We talked about this before the show, but the way that this generally works is women are beauty objects to men, and men are success
Absolutely not.
objects to women.
They're
So
not.
what we see generally, what men generally see in women, the first thing we look at, like, is the physical, is the beauty aspect. And here's the thing, like, this isn't women's fault, but this is just kind of like a product of nature. Women tend to have really long laundry lists of what they'll accept in a man and what they're looking for. These checklists,
Sometimes
these
it's
check
unreasonable.
boxes. Oftentimes it's unreasonable. It's almost always unreasonable. But because they have these, a lot of times women will think that men also have these long checklists that need to be fulfilled. And it's really not. Like, men are very simple creatures. We want a good looking woman who's respectful, to your point, who is useful and adds to our lives. And respectable can be really simple. They don't make us look bad in front of our friends, don't make us look bad in public. I think what a lot of women fail to understand, or what they need to internalize, is that if a man is choosing you to be his woman, to be his lady, his wife, girlfriend, whatever, you are now a reflection on him, and how you present yourself out in the world and how men or other women see you is a direct reflection onto the man, right? So that's why men don't like it when their girlfriends are posting provocative pictures on social media with bikinis, or they are hanging out with other guy friends, or they are doing things that perceive slights of disrespect. It's really simple and easy not to disrespect a man in your life that you're dating or you're in a relationship with. But most women see any sort of boundaries being drawn as insecurity, controlling, you're just scared, as opposed to, no, those behaviors are actually very disrespectful, and men that are worth their salt don't want to be with women like that.
I believe,
Francesca, you disagreed with something I said.
Yes,
is
I
there?
believe objectifying women is very, very bad. I know maybe you didn't, but the way certain things are expressed, they make me feel there is objectification of the feminine nature, which is very sad. Like a programmed woman, be in your place, care about me, be loyal, don't post your pictures, you're fine, you're the perfect girl. What are we talking about? There is so much more to love.
What's wrong with any
There
of
is so
that?
much more. Yeah, but there is so much more to respect. For me, respect for a man is expressing what I feel. I know you don't want to talk about emotions, but for me, someone shutting up, in silence all day, smiling me, super hotty, as a man, I would not appreciate a woman. I would rather,
You're not
I
a
would
man.
like.
You don't know anything
So
about the male
I
experience.
know,
Why
but
are you saying
I
why are
work
you
with men a
saying this?
lot, and men are not like you, Muff.
You
I'm
shouldn't
sorry,
be
you
working
think all
with
men
men.
are
You have
like
no
you.
idea what it's
Do
like
you
to live the
think
male
that all you
experience. Why
men
are
are
you
the
working with
same?
men?
You are very wrong. You are very wrong because I'm a
About what?
spiritual coach. I
I
work with
think the
everyone,
first
from
person to
handicap
objectify
to
themselves is a
everyone.
woman.
So,
The first person that objectifies is the woman herself. Because
but
for
doesn't
a
have
man
to
to be
be.
objectifying like men see women as objects. Well, there's many women that portray themselves as objects. Like if you're a woman that is constantly posting pictures of the cleavage and then the booty pic on the mirror with her girlies and it's all like in thong bikinis, like that man is not gonna see personality, he's not gonna see value, he's just gonna see this
Absolutely.
girl is posting and displaying herself for the male gaze, so therefore the male gaze is what I will
Yeah,
give, right?
that's
Like
very
you
true.
so
What
if a
about for
man
women? Hmm.
go ahead.
No, because I wanted to ask too, like, what about women who feel like that's a form of body positivity?
It's not very
I bet
positive to
Jada has
me.
a
It's sexually
a
appealing,
point on
right?
that.
Because
It's
It's
just
Jada.
sexual.
you can't have a body positivity mindset while you're portraying yourself to be sexually appealing.
it's
Jada,
lack
you
of
had a
And that
point
sexual
on that.
actually.
Jada, because you were
It's lack
talking
of
about
sexuality.
and like
the
it's the
sexual
poses
revolution
that
as
you
being a
do in
negative
those
thing.
pictures. Sorry to interrupt. Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's
Someone
okay.
can
I
be
want to
sexual.
get Jada's point on this because we talked about
Oh
this
yeah,
before the
let's hear
show. We
about
talked
that.
about the sexual revolution being a negative thing for women, and talking about empowering women to be sexual is actually a negative thing in the long run. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, I think it's very, very deceptive. If you look at anything worth value, it's covered. A diamond is, usually locked up in a case, and you have to be able to afford it. So if we're looking at things of value, it's usually conservative, right? It's usually concealed and hard to get to, and hard to get to and hard to have access to. So a woman putting everything out there is just actually lowering your value so much, to me personally. I also think it's ruining our men, the sexual revolution. We complain so much about men, but I think that in itself, I was talking about the boy crisis. And actually, it was that book, by the way. The author, I don't know why I didn't put two together, but um, men are struggling, feeling like they have no purpose. So what the sexual revolution did is, like, I talked about this, was women just putting everything out there and willing to give up their bodies and have sex with these men and just put everything online. It gives men like no purpose to work for anything anymore. They just have easy access to us. And I'm not trying to say their whole identity is to like have sex with women, but it was a huge factor. If you take that away from them, it gives them a purpose of something to work for. So now all these women want these hardworking men and these men of status, and they're upset because men aren't being leaders and men aren't reaching this status anymore, and they are going for a very small percentage now of men. Yeah, it's just
Yes,
very
baby.
I
unfair.
feel like yeah,
Totally.
just to piggyback off of that, I feel like our attraction also lies on on the moral code, like the moral values that we were raised on too. Me personally, I was raised on a heavily religious family that always told me, there has to be a man. There's always has to be a man and woman household. The man takes the lead. You can't portray yourself. You can't show like too much skin and this, that, and the third. But then I also interact with people and speak with people who do sex work, or they go and do pole dancing, or they do like other forms of dancing that's professionally, and they it's different for them because they say, dating, having a date while doing professions that's surrounding that, like having to advertise yourself in an appealing way of that sort is, for them, it's like a different aspect. For them, it's like, okay, the man is okay with that as long as they're not going as far as giving their body out into the world, like in a sense of like getting money by like having sex and things like that. So that's something I wanted to
I think
pick
a lot
on.
of those men are lying. I mean, we had a girl
Yeah.
on a couple of weeks ago who was doing some OnlyFans or Fansly or one of these things, and basically, she's like, "Oh, well, the guy that I'm dating," and I hate to use one example, but because I don't particularly like to lean on anecdotal evidence, but this idea that it was a perfect setup. I said, well, she goes, "Oh, well, I'm dating this guy, or I'm seeing this guy who knows that I do OnlyFans and he doesn't have a problem with it." I said, "Well, have you slept with him yet? Have you guys had sex?" She goes, "No." It's like, well, there you go. Because men are very willing to lie to women about the kind of behaviors that they'll tolerate and accept to get into their pants and sleep with them. I mean, it goes, what is it, Spence? It's men fall in love with what they see. That's why women wear makeup, and women fall in love with what they hear. That's why men lie. So,
Well, this is a quote that you read on Instagram, Mark. It's not true.
I find it very interesting because men will lie and they'll wait and they will do all kinds of things to get with women. So I don't think that any man really who's worth his salt, that has his pick of women, that is spoiled for choice, that can say there's these 10 women that want to be with me, he's not going to lower his standards. He might sleep with a girl that does OnlyFans or dances or anything like that, but it's a very, very small chance, or almost a zero likelihood, that man's going to do anything about taking her seriously, because a guy that sees a woman in a club on a pole on OnlyFans, disrespectful to him and as the man is a relationship, and that breaks a cardinal rule of respect. But Francesca, sorry, I was talking. I didn't hear what you said. Go ahead.
Yes, no, you quit the microphone, good, because otherwise I interrupt you since you don't like it. So basically, I believe, for me, just talking about sexuality, when you expose yourself externally to the public sexually, it means you are looking for sexuality and you actually lack it. Because when you're truly sexual, you are embracing the moment. You don't need to show it off, because that's what you are. Most of cases, when we show off something in public, in repetition, can be, videos of the body, pictures, because sometimes it's fine. We are talking about the repetitive behavior and pattern, so which multiplies and is a pattern. It's the pure lack of sexuality in this case. It's not the other way. So I feel very sorry when I see someone posting all the time about the body, the face, or about other stuff in OnlyFans. I feel very sorry, because I feel this person is lacking sexuality. And so it's the opposite of what people think. They say, this person is so sexual. No, it's actually the opposite. This person is looking for sexuality, trying to be very sexual.
I don't even know what to say. Like, I really don't. I'm completely...
To bring it back to the video.
Please.
Being sexual means that you...
I got something
no, but
a little bit...
Being sexual, guys, do you think... Aspetta, 1 second. Being sexual is about what you show off or about what you are? Ask this question
What's the
to
difference?
yourself. The difference is that if you are sexual, if you're sexual...
What you are showing, the signals that you're sending, the way you are presenting yourself to the world is a reflection of who you are, because that's what you want people to see.
No, absolutely not. What you give out is also what you are in need, that you don't have yet often.
What?
Wait, I have a question.
Wait, hold on. So are you saying...
Of course, guys, but anyways, this show is not for me at all. Go.
No, we love having you. Don't get me wrong. This is great for the show.
So are you saying a girl who's like
for you, maybe not for me?
Wait.
Isn't getting her sexual desires in that?
For example, someone showing off their material side, okay? Do you think it's because is what the person is, or what the person is showing off because he's lacking everything else inside? What is show off often is the weakness, is not what it is. You don't reflect what you are by showing it off. If you are, you don't have the need to show it off so much. It's science in this case.
So if I have
I-
$1 million, but if I
I'm
post a
okay.
picture of it on Instagram, I actually don't have $1 million. I'm broke.
It's not about this. We said, again, go deeper. We said the repetition of pattern, the repetition, like constantly saying something, constantly posting videos of you sexually, constantly, it's the repetition, is a pattern, it's not one time. And often this reflects the lack, the void that the person is having. That's why there is this need of repeating pattern continuously.
I mean,
But
it's not.
if someone's posting always like videos of like, I don't know, chains, gold, money racks, like that shows that that person is materialistic. Now, the fact that they're materialistic might show a more psychological thing about them,
That they're
since
not experiencing being wealthy.
well, it's more showing like, well, you're materialistic because you're lacking,
Yeah.
I don't know, a real valuable relationship in your life or something that has actual meaningful value.
Nothing
So you
wrong-
look
brava.
value in material. But
Yeah.
if you're showing off money, that doesn't mean that you're not materialistic in reality. That you are materialistic. You are in fact being materialistic. It just kind of
The repetition. It depends
Well,
on how it's shown, baby. I believe
The
it
thing
all
that people
depends.
are
We cannot
lacking in this
generalize.
scenario is that
We
they're
can
lacking
generalize.
attention.
It depends on how it is shown off. It is not everywhere, every time like this. You have to actually see what is going on.
This reminds me
cannot
of the
generalize.
cheating point that we had earlier, where it's like, well, she cheated, but why did she cheat?
It's very
She
astute of
cheated
you.
because he didn't do this. Well, it's like, well, yeah, she cheated because it takes two to tango, right? Like, it's not like she's gonna cheat. Some people do cheat. In fact,
It doesn't
when
matter
the
why
relationship
she
is
cheated. She
perfect,
cheated,
it
we're
doesn't
done.
matter why she cheated. You're done. Now, what I think is a smart
But cheating
idea
can
for
also
the
be
man.
lying. Lying, you don't lose someone you love because of a lie, because he's cheating one
Yeah,
day and
but when
lying
it
to
is
you.
sexual cheating, it's definitely
A
game
sexual
over.
cheating is another thing. Sexual
There's still
cheating is another thing.
Well, when we refer to cheating, we mainly talk about like talking to other men, talking to other women, having sex with other women or men. So when that in fact happens, it is important to understand also like what you could do better next time in a way, but it also has to do a lot with this person is willing to, instead of talking about what you could do better, they're willing to instead throw that away and just get someone else. So that person definitely needs to be broken up with immediately and find someone else, right? But I think what she maybe is trying to say is like to have more insight onto why the issues arise, right? I don't
Certo.
know. I'm
Yes,
trying.
we cannot generalize about this showing sexuality online, because there is also lots of sensuality that is shown in presence, not online. I don't believe someone truly sexual has the need of exposing sexuality online in public. For me, it's very clear, but of course, we live different worlds, guys. So maybe you have another experience about this. I don't know.
So do you think a man who makes six figures will go for a woman who works a 9 to 5?
What does it mean?
Sure.
They don't care.
Do you feel like the woman who works a 9 to 5 will fit in perfectly well with the man's lifestyle who makes six figures? How would that relationship look like? Do you think the man would cheat on her?
Well, I think the woman that works a 9 to 5 is gonna want to stop working that 9 to 5 if she gets a man with six figures.
Maybe the man is like, "Hey, I don't want you to be after my money. I want a genuine chemistry with you."
Well, you can have genuine chemistry and give that 9 to 5 up if you're gonna be like, well,
like,
if
all
you're
right,
gonna
we
be
got
working
money,
at
babe. We
home.
both got money.
Well, but if he has six figures and he has a house and he's working all the time and he can't like do his laundry or something, she can benefit from the money and then provide him with like, oh, I'll do your laundry for you,
But
so you can
would
make
she be
more.
able to? Right. But would she be able to be there emotionally for him? Would she be
Well,
able
it
to
certainly
understand
depends
his
on the
mindset,
job.
understand where he's
It
coming
It
from?
depends.
It
with
depends
that
on the
lifestyle.
job. I mean, are we talking about some stupid like shitty email job where you're making PowerPoints and making 60K? Like, no. If you're waiting tables, I mean, ideally, like, I think that most guys want women to be home taking care of the kids. A man that is worth his salt, that's making enough money to support the household, does not want to compete with his woman's attention. We live in a world where women will take orders from another man, their boss, and will work to the bone for him for a paycheck, but won't respect and take orders from their husband and their man at home, the leader of the household, which I think is completely backwards. So yeah, I mean, I think there's a few guys out there. I think guys really that are worried about women getting them for their money really don't have any in the first place. But there are a lot of wealthy guys out there, and guys that Spencer and I both know, but they understand that men who have resources and have the ability to get things done and make money are highly sought after. There's no reason that a man should be afraid of a woman that wants to be with him because he's competent and is able to acquire resources. Just like there shouldn't be women that out there that are mad at men that want to be with them because they like to have sex and they're hot and they're fun to be around and they're sexy. I mean, we are at the end of the day biological creatures, and we have markers that attract us to one another naturally, and all of that stuff is okay.
Okay. Nice.
I also want to add that for a relationship to be healthy, talking about like the sort of posting online, like I feel like healthy relationships have an aspect of exclusivity. And when you're constantly posting what should only be seen in the bedroom online, that exclusivity is lost, right? So then what happens here is that the woman is sacrificing that exclusivity, which is what all women want. Every woman ever wants a man to have only eyes for her and be like treating her specially, right? Then like when she's giving what the man gets from that, right? Because the man does that and then gets from her the exclusivity of being the only man to see her in her state or whatever. So she's sacrificing that, right? Her relationship for the male gaze, which is that whole thing of like the adorer and the adoree, right? Like that's like a woman wanting to have the male gaze and valuing the desire of other men over her, like wanting valuing quantity over quality, if you will. Because it's way better to have one dude that like is great, like the best dude you've ever met, give you the adoration or look down for you, than have like, I don't know, 100 dudes online posting little emojis under your pictures.
Absolutely.
The story that I usually hear, even with guys who say that they are okay with their woman posting that type of content online and sharing all that stuff, usually they say they're okay with it, but then a few months into the relationship, they start to learn what it's like when a bunch of guys start sending him videos saying, hey, is this your girlfriend? And it's her shaking her ass or worse. And that starts to get to him, and now it's in his brain. Now he's thinking about it. Originally, he was like hiding it. He was blocking it out. He's like, I'm not going to think about it. But now that he's seeing this, it ruins the relationship, and they end up breaking up a lot of the time.
Yeah, I've seen many podcasts of men that have like OnlyFans girlfriends or something, and then when that topic gets brought up, the guy's like, "Oh, like it almost seems like the relationship survives on the man willfully ignoring this." But then when it gets brought up, he doesn't care. But all of a sudden, things start getting really heated in the podcast. All of a sudden, it's like, "Shut up, man! Like, what are you talking about? Stop talking about my woman or whatever." Like, I don't know. Doesn't seem like no care is a no care for real.
Easiest way to piss a guy like that off is this your girlfriend? A video of her?
Can I comment on that? Because I know earlier you guys talked about how those men are lying, right? And it was like a fascinating video I watched of Peterson, and he had talked about how there was a study on orangutans and how the big ones, the alpha ones, they didn't even flock up into the trees with the women. The women would just come to them because they're so mighty. They didn't have to do that. But the weaker ones that the women didn't want to mate with, they would go up into the trees and try to blend in with the women and honestly kind of do what he called like a sneaky R word to the women. And when you look at that, he's talking about the men in society, the men that go and flock towards the OnlyFans women and all of these other women, they're not getting any play from women. So they're like, instead of me becoming a mighty man, a mighty strong man that women want to come to, I'm going to sneak my way into just approving of these things that honestly emasculate me, but I'm going to do it so that I could have sex with you. And it's a terrible mindset. Much rather be with an alpha male that's like, this is my role, this is your role, than a man that's going to be like, whatever you want to do, because then you have to question his intentions of, are you only saying that so you can sleep with me? And that's just Very, very
Yeah.
feminine.
This is
It's the
known
same
as
reason guys will stay around for years in the friend zone, and then eventually they get to the point where it's like too much, and you find out later on he was only friends with you to sleep with you.
Yeah, and he waits till you're vulnerable. He literally waits till you break up with the man you're with, or you're drunk one night, or you're it's like, you know what, I'm seeing you in a different light. He's so quick to be like, finally, and that is very sneaky. And it's no, you're either a man that's head on. Go ahead, sorry.
It's referred to as, no, it's okay. I was just finishing your point. Like it's referred to,
Yeah.
we're past the hour and a half mark, so I don't think we'll get demonetized. But it's referred to as like the sneaky fucker theory. And it's just like it's orangutans. There's another study about fish where males or lower value males or more feminine males in a certain species will disguise themselves as women, or that's why women should be looking out for anybody that calls himself a male feminist or supporting, women's rights and fight the power and that kind of thing, because that is a direct response, in my opinion, to not being able to have sexual access to the women they want. So it's all about, I'm on your side and I believe in, oh yeah, like smash the patriarchy, Donald Trump sucks, or whatever the hell they're ranting about these days. And really, when they find out, these women are like, no, dude, I'm not seeing you in that way. It's cool that you're like wearing a pussy hat or whatever, but I don't want to bang you. And he goes, well, what the hell? Like, what do I do it all this for then? So it's all
I never liked you
posturing.
anyway.
It's all fall. Yeah, it's all posturing. It's nonsense. But yeah, that's
Matter of fact,
something that
ugly.
occurs in nature. Yeah, I mean, in not only in our species and other species too. I'm trying to see if I had any notes here. Some more things. We can get back to that. We talked about this, and this. Francesca, you've been quiet for a little while, but
No, because I don't make a point. Why? Tell me.
Well,
If I agree, I don't make a point.
You said
Sorry,
you
but
coach
I hear
men.
you. Maybe I hear you a bit late than it is.
That's okay. You said you coach
So
men.
basically, I love interrupting when I don't agree. I wanted to tell you, Muff. So tell me again.
I got that point pretty clearly. You said you coach men. What do you?
No, I don't coach
men on?
anyone. I am a spiritual guide. It's different.
You guide men.
No, men or women, it depends. Usually it's a couple.
Let's talk about men in this. Oh, okay, fine. But like,
All
let's
my
talk about men
friends are
specifically
men.
in this context.
Or women, it depends.
All of your friends are men, or who, or what?
Or women. For me, it's not about the gender, it's about the person. You, in my opinion, sorry, Muff, you categorize too much. It's too much logic for me. But
do you
don't
not
worry,
think there
different.
are biological differences between men and women?
Absolutely, but because I have a guy friends doesn't mean that I don't have, women friends. And since you are so shocked that I have guy friends, do you think I only
I'm not
get along
shocked
with
at all.
women? Oh, okay.
No, I thought we were talking about, you said you work with men, but you're saying you have guy friends.
See,
Is that what
no,
you mean?
to say that I guide even my friends. So I'm a guide for everyone in terms of how I live. So people seek guidance often, and often are men. And I can see that the man that is emotionally awakened is much more powerful than a man that only uses logic. That's how you become unique.
What's the best piece of advice, or the most recent best advice that you've given to a guy friend? What was the topic and what was the subject, and what advice did you give him?
Too many examples.
Just give me the most recent one. Just one you can think of, or your best one. What you think your best advice to men is, or give me advice. What do you think the best advice is for me? If I'm
don't follow logic, listen to your emotions.
If I'm coming to you and saying, Francesca, I need help, what are you gonna tell me?
Well, exactly. Listen to your emotions. Don't follow your logic, because the logic is gonna betray you.
What am I supposed to do with that information?
Logic never betrays me. Emotions can sometimes betray me.
Let's go deeper. So if a guy is asking for an advice and I say, this is logic suggesting you this because that's what you have been learning. But what you have been learning, which is your logical side, so you learn and logically you think this way. So it's one way. There is no expansion of any other direction, because logic makes you one way in one go. So basically there is no expansion of reality. So what I say, because they seek advices.
I'm going to try this one more time. I'm going to try this one more time. Because I can't keep doing these word salads. Like a guy comes
I know, I'm teasing you, but it's the truth.
Question. No,
Sorry.
I'm asking you for a specific example. A guy comes to you and he says, "Hey, I really like this girl. We went on a date. I went on a date with this girl. I texted her the next day, but she's not responding to me. What do I do? And I want to be very clear. The question is, what do I do next? What is my step? What do I actually do? And not change my mindset,
Just
not
to finish,
lean into my
just to
emotions. Like,
finish.
what is your advice for me? What do I do?
I'm sorry because there is a friend that she was telling me
shit.
something. So I want to say, Maf, when you act for what you learn from others, is not necessarily what your emotion is suggesting you. So related to what you told me just now, is it's more important your emotion than what logic is suggesting, because logic is what you have been learning from the external. Okay. You are not born with logic. A child, his inner child is alive because there is no much logic. It's all about emotions.
It's also not true.
So I'm just making you visualize. Maybe close your eyes when I talk about this, because otherwise your logic is gonna interfere. So
Francesca, are you going to answer the question? Or are we going to have to move on?
I was talking to a friend. Repeat it, please, Maf.
Okay. My goodness. A guy comes to you and says, a guy comes to you and needs advice.
Yeah.
Okay. He's asking you what he should do. Let's say
related to
he really likes a girl. He's going to ask her out on a date. She wants to go out with him. But let's say he doesn't know where to take her. He doesn't know the next step. What are you going to tell him? Or let's say she doesn't respond to him. Let's say that she's cold and she's unresponsive after she said she would go out on a date. What's your actionable advice? What should that man actually do?
First question would be, what is your emotion about this? What are you feeling about this? I know. I know. In fact, Maf, you cannot understand this because logic would say, insist on this. But if your emotion is telling you something is wrong, something is not right about this connection, I would listen to the emotion.
Is this emotion gut feeling?
Yes, absolutely. It's so important. It's like being in tune with yourself and not with what you have been learning from others, which is not part of you. It's so important to listen to your emotions. They make you whom you are. Otherwise, you become like everyone else. That's why Maf says that everyone is the same. All women the same, all men the same. It's not true.
Never said that.
Let's even play it out. Let's play it out more. This guy's emotions are that he really wants this girl.
If you listen to emotions, if you tell a woman who comes to you and says, "Hey, I just met this person and I really like them, and we've been talking for
answer the question.
3 weeks."
You don't understand the answer, Maf. You don't understand the answer, Maf. That's the point.
Listen to your emotions is not an answer. That doesn't mean
because you don't even know. You don't even know how to do it. That's why I know. But it's your problem, Maf.
See, the girl is giving him the cold shoulder, so he's gonna listen to his emotions, gonna get pissed, and he's gonna be like, "Bitch, why are you answering me?"
No, but like that's not like you're taking it a step too far. That doesn't even make any sense. The answer is pay attention to your emotions. It means nothing. Like he's coming to you. I'm asking him to. He's asking you for an actionable advice and a step to take.
I attract men that need my advices. I attract men in my guidance. Within couples even that need my guidance. I don't think any man on the planet.
I don't think any man on the planet should come to me.
I think every guy is special and they have a different personality. That's why it's very beautiful.
I feel like we make very irrational decisions when we lead with emotion.
I think
that's why
absolutely. It has to be both. How do you learn how to deal with your emotions using logic? Logic cannot be the first functioning about logic only is destroying whom you are. You need both. You need logic and emotions.
Look, in the situation of the cheating, let's say you find out that your girlfriend cheated on you. According to that logic,
listen to your emotions.
Check it out. According to that logic, if you react and make the decision with your emotion, for example, if I caught my boyfriend cheating and I decided to act emotionally, which is probably the likelihood, because when you are betrayed, the emotions are running, right? I'm probably gonna try to smack him around. I don't know, give him a couple punches, slap him a couple times.
Really?
Now,
No.
Girl.
well, if I got cheated and I caught him in the act, I am running up and I'm gonna try to beat his ass, right? Now, would that be the most
No.
intelligent thing to do? I don't think so. I would probably like, the logical thing to do would be like, all right, we're over. This is it. I'm out of here.
No, but to
Right.
be
Kathy, you got to get
authentic,
Camila in your
no,
MMA
to be
classes. Got to teach her
authentic,
some things.
to be
Hey,
authentic,
free
you have
classes,
to
man. I got
express
you.
your emotions. That's why people lack authenticity and they are becoming all the same. Most of people behave the same in many places because they avoid, neglect their emotions. So when someone is asking me, Franci, I have this date, what should I do? And I say, listen to your emotion. Do you feel more like more intimate or do you feel like more social? Like the emotion is setting the energy in motion for the right situation to happen. If you only function by logic, you would bring this girl in every place you've been bringing others. So logic is saying, I will bring it to the same bar where I brought all the other girls. No.
Good
if you
move.
listen to
Good
your
move, by the way.
emotions-
If you're a guy, you should bring her to the same place. That's good.
Bravo,
You know the
Maff.
bartenders. You know the bartenders. They're not going to blow up your spot.
But that's you,
You
Maff.
got
That's you,
status
Maff.
there.
Not
They're
every
gonna
man
think
is like
you're
you,
that
thank
guy.
God. So
I
basically,
know. I'm
so if you listen to your
Goodness
emotions,
No,
But also
most men don't
both
have sex.
Facts.
anyways.
But even in the situation of cheating, like if you think of it logically, then you're gonna be able to understand maybe things that led to like you not being the partner she desired. That's like thinking of it logically. Like if you think, well, why did she cheat? You logically start thinking about what you did, what she did, what led to this event, right?
Self-reflecting.
Then that is a logical thought process because then you say like, okay, well, instead of thinking of it emotionally, like it's all her fault. I did nothing. I was actually perfect. It was actually everything her. If you think that way, that's more emotional than thinking logically. If you
That's
think logically,
actually
you're like, okay, what
egoistic.
can I change in myself so that so I can make a better relationship next time? Obviously, dump her, right? Because she also made that decision. But that's a logical thought process. Like if you're thinking of that situation emotionally, you're gonna like be so overwhelmed by the emotional response of I'm hurt, I am betrayed, that you're gonna think that you're completely the victim in every single sense of the way. You did nothing wrong, actually. I've actually had
We need
one
both,
of my
in
boyfriend's
fact.
male
We
friends
need both.
who reacted to like many of his breakups like this, like I am the victim. She was actually terrible. I might have done this in this argument, but actually, if I think about it more, it's her fault because she led me to have that response or something. Like they'll always try to emotionally like think of it, which is not a good thing. I disagree with that
And can I
emotion
add?
thing.
Yes, but
Can I add
emotions
to
are
what
not
you
only
said?
explosive,
Yeah,
girls.
violence is never
Emotions are
okay.
also beautiful. They're not only dramatic, like you say. Sorry,
Jada.
Well, but
emotions
these
are
are
Go
like
actually good.
real situations though, and like
Yes,
situations where
certo.
decisions count.
Yes,
That's when
absolutely.
it's
Yes, but
Jada,
it's
go
not
ahead.
only
Name's
about this.
Camilla, right? Camilla.
uh-huh.
You kind of said this perfectly. It's like my first reaction if I was to find out that my man cheated is to actually be abusive. It would be to put your hands on the person. So if you actually act out in your emotions, and men were to act out in their emotions, when we look at men that are abusive, they are emotional men, which means that should not be what you follow. It's just that simple. Yeah, I just wanted to kind
But
of.
emotions are also very positive.
I
There
want
are
to put a
negative
spin on
emotions and
this.
positive emotions.
I don't think emotions
Cheating
are
or a
positive.
girl
I don't
not
think
texting me
positive
back are not
I
leading to
think
positive emotions.
emotions are just emotions. There's no such
Absolutely
thing as a
not.
positive or a negative
But you need to
emotion. We
deal
can
with
move on
it.
from that. I want to ask the ladies on the panel. Francesca, you brought this up. You have male friends, so I mean, you say you're currently in a relationship, but I can't make heads or tails of what we're talking about. You never met this person in person. I don't know if we're talking about like an ethereal figure or what. But
I know, it's too
do
deep
the
for
women
you,
on the
Matt,
panel?
don't
Yeah,
worry.
I'm sure that it is. Yeah, I'm sure it's so deep that just a big dumb like me doesn't know anything about that stuff.
No,
Do
they
the
believe
women on
that
the
the meaning
panel
of
think?
love.
Do the women on the panel think that having male friends when you're in a relationship is appropriate?
No.
Kathy, why don't we start with you?
No.
Well, Jada, you said first. Jada, let's go ahead and start with you.
No.
Male friends in a relationship.
No.
Why not?
Not even. I genuinely feel like men that are friends with a woman, especially one in a committed relationship, kind of what I said is like what are your intentions of being this woman's friend, and are you like a male feminist? Are you just waiting on the side in case my marriage falls apart and to swoop in? Yeah, I don't think it's appropriate. Also, when you're in a relationship, if you're going through a vulnerable time with your spouse, and you reach out to a male friend, once again, that opens that doorway for cheating to actually happen. So I think the best way to just a very healthy relationship is to close off any door. I just think if you want to protect something, you want to close off doors and gateways to essentially something happen, right? So even if you're like always constantly smoking weed, right? And then you're not getting high anymore, so now you want to go over here. I think if you cut off a gateway drug or a gateway to something, you can protect yourself. Same thing with male friendships, basically. Yeah.
Spencer,
Same
you want
thing
to grab
with,
that real quick?
woman,
Hold on.
though.
Let's grab this super chat, Spencer. Go ahead and throw that up.
I'm so sorry you feel this way. It's absurd.
James would like to sponsor Francesca's first shelter cat. Hashtag single forever. She's in a relationship. I mean, apparently, but nobody that we can see or hear or touch or be around physically. But
Moth, you don't know them.
Yeah, they go to another school. I don't know them. They don't go to another school.
I feel
while
like
Camila's getting herself. Oh yeah, Kathy, please go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, I feel like a lot of women these days just don't know how to be responsible with having male friendships, especially when they're attracted to men. So like when they're going through something in their relationships and they go for a male point of view to their male friends or their male friend, it's like they start realizing, oh, this man gets me more than the man that I'm with. And that's why it's always like this controversial thing where it's like there's always cheating involved, and it's always usually with someone who's close, not someone you just met. Or like very, very few cases, it could be you could be at a club and you just cheat based off of like, one night stand. But like most cases is always with someone who's close. And I can understand why it's hard for society as a whole to see that it's an okay thing, because not a lot of women are very responsible with that responsibility of just keeping a boundary, a strong boundary on male friendships. And that's why it's usually always a problem within relationships, because if you're attracted to men and you have a male friend there that has been there for you have history with this person. Most of the time there's women who report that there has been romantic feelings exchanged with that person at some point. So it's always a battle between, oh, are you responsible to have male friends while in a relationship, or are you not? Same with guys. Like, can guys have female friendships while being in a monogamous relationship with a woman?
Do guys and girls, are they really friends at all? Like, can we have an adult conversation real quick? There's really no planet where men and women can even be friends, because we generally know what men want from women. I mean, men were never put on this earth to be friends with women. This is a extremely new phenomenon. I mean, even in the last 40 years or 50 years, I mean, go ask your mothers or your grandmother if they had best male friends that they went out and hang out with. I guarantee none of you have. The answer is going to be no. So this idea that men and women even can exist as platonic friends, I don't even agree with that. So, like, I mean, I don't know what, because again, women have every reason to have male friends, because what is a male friend really? It's a man that can protect you if you need it, a man that will stick up for you, a man that will listen to your problems, a man that will be the shoulder you cry on when you're not getting a call back from the guy you really want. Yeah. Well, guess what? And here's the kicker. You get the attention, and guess what? Here's the kicker. You don't even have to sleep with him. You don't have to give him the one thing he wants, which is that ass. So it's like the perfect scenario for women, just like the friends with benefits or the FB for men is like all he gets is he gets to get laid, and he doesn't have to give any money. He doesn't have to take her out on dates. He doesn't have to buy her gifts, spend money on her, meet her family. So it's something that I don't even believe, and I don't even think, if we're being really honest here on this panel, that it can exist in reality. And I think the only women and the only men that are fighting for friendships between men and women are the men that want to bang the women that they're waiting around for, and they don't want to be honest, because they know once that line is crossed, that's it. The genie's out of the bottle. There's no going back. And it's the women that have male friends that they can call, and he'll pay for dinners, and he'll listen to her cry, and he'll be the shoulder to cry on. And if that's the case, are those really friendships? Or is that just
a male-female friendship is just a relationship. That's my male friend is my boyfriend. The only men that I have that I could consider friends are maybe like my boyfriend's friends, who I see once in a blue moon, and then we might share a word or something. Like we might be like, oh, this and that. that's it. I'm not like texting, because that's like already like that's another thing about the exclusive thing. Like, just as I expect my boyfriend to only text me, only, you know, confide in me, no other woman, right? It's the same thing with like men. Like, my boyfriend expects me to not confide in other men, text other men, talk to them independently away from him. Like, he's not even in the picture. It's just me and a man alone. I wouldn't want him doing that with another woman, so.
But what about professional friendships?
That's different.
Like business partners. How do you feel about that?
Those aren't friendships. They're there because they're for business.
Those are
that relationship wouldn't exist without the business
So the
there. It's a business relationship, not a friendship.
And even so, it's an extremely gray area. I don't even think men and women should work together because there's always the underlying undertone of romantic or sexuality things to happen. I mean, there's recently in the last couple of days, there's been a huge, I talked about this on the show last night. There's this woman that essentially screwed the head of content at Fox Sports 1 to get a job. And she essentially said if she ever got found out or she got pushed out of her job, she would threaten him with a false sexual assault accusation. So I don't think there's anything good that comes out of men and women together in the workplace or business, because it's always going to have some sort of romantic undertone. It's going to have it. And I'll take it one step further. I don't even really want the woman I'm dating to have a lot of female friends, because women love to sabotage other women. So if she's talking about we're having relationship problems or we're having issues, the worst thing that a girl can have in a relationship is a bunch of single female friends that want her to be single. What's that?
Yeah. Well, that's kind of like what you were saying. I wanted to piggyback off that. When I've been in a relationship where the man had female friends, and his female friends always had opinions that really set the tone between the relationship, with the relationship between me and that man. So it's kind of like a slippery slope for me, because it's like you have other women giving opinions that's setting the tone between our relationship that's supposed to be discreet, supposed to be intimate between you and me. You know, you're supposed to trust in my opinion and me telling you the truth. It's just a little bit of a gray area. It's hard to really keep up with, because there's this known, like, it's so common for women to sleep with their male friends that it's hard to really know if a woman is responsible enough to have a male friend while being in a monogamous relationship. Like, it's weird.
In relation to what you said, Moth, it you know, obviously, like, sounds bad, but in a way I agree, simply because when, for example, when I have female friends and they're single or something, and I tell them an issue, because like I'm not gonna be like telling them all of the positives. Like, usually like the positives you keep to yourself. Like, when you're mad at your boyfriend, then you want to like vent to someone, and then like you tell them only of the negatives. So when you have a group of women and you only tell them of the negatives, like, they're gonna react emotionally to it, and they're gonna be like, well, you should like dump him, like, I know so many sorry, my cat is, I had to open, you know, when the guy said that about the shelter cat, coincidentally, my cat needed me to open the door. But yeah, like, I think that I personally want to keep like all of my relationship issues more confidentially. Yeah, I feel like I want to talk to the issues to someone, but that someone is my boyfriend. Like, we're gonna have to talk through it. But if I have had that happen, like, whenever I talk to any woman that I'm friends with about any issues with my boyfriend, the solution, I swear to God, it's always break up. Break up. Because that's just
leave him.
Yeah.
You don't need him. You can handle your own.
You can hang out with us.
Guys,
you can come out and go to clubs
in my
and
opinion,
drink and be clubbing. Yeah, go ahead, friend.
Okay, sorry, I thought the microphone was off. No, because we can also agree to disagree. I believe this approach, guys, to this discussion, to this topic, is a bit superficial to me, because I truly, strongly believe in friendship. I have amazing friends. They know I'm in love. They will never even touch me, and I will never even touch them.
That's the thing. They want to.
Okay, but as I don't remember her name, but this girl on the top, okay, Katy said, Katie, boundaries are everything, guys. So, but you don't have to avoid friendships, but you should keep boundaries. I think it's fine, it's healthy, because
No,
otherwise
it's not
life is
fine.
one.
I mean,
I've
it's
had
not
guy
fine.
friends
Hold on,
push
really
those
quick.
boundaries. I'm not gonna
And
lie.
here's the thing. Here's the thing. If you know, here's what I want to ask. Regardless, we're not talking about boundaries. I mean, we always talk about, hey, listen, if I have a Lamborghini, I'm not going to go park it in a bad neighborhood. Yeah, I trust the locks in the Lamborghini, but am I going to put it in a bad neighborhood or people are going to try to break in? No, but we're past that. I'm not even going to touch that. What I'm saying is, and this is, I want a real honest answer here. If knowing that a man wants to sleep with you and knowing that he's sexually attracted to you and the reason that he's around you is because of that attraction, how can you call that friendship?
You can't.
In this case, in this quiz,
Jackie?
certo, but
It's basically early courtship.
What do you mean by that?
What is?
Basically, he is dating her without calling it dating. It's the same, a lot of the same things, such as him picking her up, him driving, him funding the dates. It's literally very similar to them officially dating, but they're not calling it what it is. And in my experience, I don't think, to Moff's point, I agree. I don't think people even need that many friends. I think it's important for, my man has one friend, that's his male friend. I have one girlfriend, that's my best friend. And outside of that, everybody else, like, you can network and you can have peers and you can look at people as opportunities to maybe do partnerships together and mutually benefit each other. But outside of having each other, which is the core family unit, it's the man, the wife, their kids, that is the family, and it's pretty much them against the world. I don't think it's important to have a lot of friends, and nor would it be acceptable for my boyfriend or me to have friends of the opposite sex. It just has not come into, even if a man does have a female friend, she becomes irrelevant once there is a lady in his life, and she gets pushed to the wayside anyways. And I think that that's natural, and that's what's supposed to happen, and anything else would be unacceptable. You're supposed to turn to each other and confide in each other and be the new unit if you're planning on getting married, because that's the natural way.
Agreed.
Francesca, you don't think that it's an issue to have male friends that want to sleep with you? You still consider them friends?
As soon as I feel they want to sleep with me, I would be super
They all
clear,
do,
because
but they do.
No, because as soon as so I don't want to go always into the emotion, but okay, even if his logic is let's not go there. Let's say it another way. Like, if you know the person is not available, automatically the desire diminishes. Like, it's
no,
if you
for
respect
men, for who?
No.
For women?
No, I can tell you.
Well,
I know a lot of
Jessica,
men.
Come on, you can't actually think that's real. You can't actually think that a man who knows that you are in a relationship.
I talk to my friends.
No, they're
lying
lying to you. You can't actually sit there and truly believe that if a man thinks because a man sees that you're in a relationship, the sexual attraction just magically dissipates and doesn't exist.
No,
that's not how
sexual attraction. You can have it with many people. It's about attraction. You are also attracted to the sun, to the.
We're talking about sexual attraction. We're talking about sexual attraction.
Guys,
we're talking about
hold on. We are not animals.
No, this is what we're talking about. We are animals. Yes, we are.
I'm not. I'm sorry.
Yes, you are. You're an animal. Human beings are animals. We are animals.
More. You cannot define humans as animals.
I can't.
Okay,
I am
not.
No. We're gonna move on.
Let's move on, because we are fighting again.
No, because I'm sitting here saying 2 + 2 = 4, something that is a demonstrable fact, and you're saying no, it's not. So we can't have a conversation because you're not willing to be honest. You're being dishonest. Yeah, because you're being dishonest. That's what it is.
I'm going deeper.
You won't just answer a simple question. Whatever the fuck that means.
You are not dishonest in this case.
You're being dishonest. I know I'm not being dishonest. You're very superficial. Because you won't admit that humans are animals, which they are. And you keep talking about going deeper, whatever the hell.
Maybe you need to say, but not everyone, Matt. I'm sorry.
Humans are mammals. I mean, read a book. This is this is third grade biology. Read a book. I don't know what to tell you.
This is what you say is very superficial. Okay.
Sorry that the truth.
I'm going deeper is what that male friend says when she goes to confide in him.
It's fine. I don't have to agree
I'm just
with
telling you to seek help. I agree.
It's totally fine. Oh, mamma mia.
No, but like this is the thing. I mean, do you? I'm going to try one more time. I don't know why I'm doing this to myself. It's self-flagellation at this point. Do you honestly think, in your heart of hearts, do you think in your? I'm not going to say that because we're going to talk about emotions. Do you honestly think, with 100% truth and certainty, we're not playing any characters, we're not churching this up for the podcast. Do you honestly think that a man who is sexually attracted to you, that the minute that he knows that you are not available or you are in a relationship or you're married, that sexual attraction dissipates and no longer exists?
No, I'm saying in friendships, there is not what is valued the most, the sexual attraction, because there is much more fun, values.
That's what you value. What I'm trying to get through here, but you're not answering the question. What I'm trying to get through here, men don't care about your friendship. Men don't care about being friends with women. No, they don't, because they're lying to you because you're attractive and they want to fuck you. I'm sorry. Like, this is the truth. I don't know why we're even pretending at this point.
All my friends are hot. All my women friends are hot. We are all hot. What do you think we want to do an orgy every day, Muff? Like, what?
No, but this is the difference between men and women. Men and women are different.
The men probably would.
But no. Well, my friends are not like these guys. I'm sorry, but maybe we are European. Maybe American mindset is different from European mindset. I don't know. Like, I have many friends that are not like this. I'm sorry. We are not animals, and we don't want to fuck everyone. That's it.
Yeah, we're definitely animals. I mean, any third grade biology textbook can tell you that.
Nothing wrong. That's
probably think the moon is made of cheese too.
There are people different from
Wait, it isn't?
I can assure you.
Yeah, right. Okay, so that's fine. I mean, my point is this, and my point is to any ladies watching this, all three of you that watch this channel, ask yourself this: if you have male friends, is it rooted in friendship? If you know that a guy is with you or hanging around with you because he wants to sleep with you, because that's what men want from women, and if you deny that, then you just have a fundamental misunderstanding of biology and how humans work, like our friend Francesca does here.
You are
I'm still. I mean, I don't know. I'm talking to the women. I'm talking to the women. I'm not talking to women on the panel. I'm talking to the women out in the void. Ask yourself if you think that's really a friendship, because I don't think that it is. If there are sexual undertones between men and women, a friendship cannot exist.
Remember,
it just can't.
Your knowledge about situations is based on your experience of life. Your experience is not the
no, it's not
truth.
Because we know how things work.
Yes, but not every man is like you, Muff.
That's not the point. We're not talking about every man being like me.
Or like Spencer. Like, everyone is different.
Do you think the authors of science textbooks only go from their personal experience, or do they rely on the experience of others in fields of study and years and years and years of research and gathering data? How do you think that works?
But I can assure you, my friends, when they see me, are attracted to my energy. They don't think of fucking every day, because we have activities together.
They absolutely do.
Many things.
And then guess what? It's okay.
To do.
What's wrong with that? What's wrong with being sexually attractive? What's the problem with being desired?
But that doesn't mean that they want to fuck me non-stop all the time. That's it, Muff.
I guarantee you go in your phone and you text your guy friend and you say, hey, come over. Let's get it on. I'm horny. I want to bang. That dude's over just like that.
I think to be an animal is very good with your love, but in friendship, if you're an animal with everyone, you're a fucking.
I thought you said we weren't animals.
Product. You are a fucking commercial product.
Are we or are we not animals?
In bed with your love is one thing. Being an animal for everyone with anyone is another thing.
So I can turn off if I'm an animal. You just said humans aren't animals. But I can. Now you're saying I can turn it off and on.
Well, since you use your logic, use it to switch on, switch off.
Oh, sorry. I forgot. I was that old logic stuff creeped up again. Sorry.
No, I'm sorry, Muff.
I forgot.
You have your logic that can help you. But also, I believe once you are not focusing the attention on the sexual attraction, there is so much more. That's what I mean. And friendship exists.
No, there's generally not. And a lot of women that you'll meet, all they really have to offer is their sexuality. Women are I mean, they don't have a lot more than that. They got some, but I mean, that's not what guys care about. I'm not saying women aren't. I'm not saying women can't be charismatic. I'm not saying women can't be smart. I'm not saying women can't be hardworking. I'm not saying women can't be achievers or accomplishers or whatever. But I'm saying men just generally don't care about that kind of stuff.
I think
that's just the way we're hardwired. Because
it's the number one thing that matters most. Let's look at a relationship where that doesn't exist. If you take that out, take out the sex.
So basically, a woman
the man's
for you
unhappy.
It's someone to fuck. It's not no other value. It's someone looking nice.
No, it's not what we
to
said.
fuck.
See, we already said that. We just said that that's not the case, but that's all you're hearing. So it's what men look for
What
the
you're
most. Men
saying
are
now,
more
if you don't
concerned
believe
about
in
attraction.
If you don't believe in friendship, it means that you see the woman as someone to fuck only. Because if you cannot be a friend
No, that's
with
not what we
someone,
said. You
it
can't
means-
keep
I know,
putting that in our mouth. That's not what we're saying.
That's logic. That's logic.
No.
That's logic. Yes.
No, it isn't. You're just wrong because I'm telling you that that's not
Allora,
all
then how
men
can you
look
do not
for.
believe in friendship if you say friendship doesn't exist? Because
How
as soon
can
as
you
see
be
a woman,
friends with somebody that you're sexually attracted to? This is what I keep coming back to. You refuse to
because
answer
then
the
the
question.
attention goes somewhere else. The attention doesn't go there because there are so many other things you can do between people, not only attraction.
But the thing
there
is
so
that
much
like
more.
sexual attraction is such a strong emotion. It's kind of hard to ignore sexual attraction.
It's natural. It's like having to take a piss. You can't. It's going to
That's right.
happen either way.
If you're not aware
It's
of
a
your
biological
emotions,
process.
That's why men in high school get a boner and then they have to be like, sorry teacher, I can't stand up right now. Like it's something that they can't. A lot of men go through this. But like, you know, they can't help it. Like, what are they gonna do? Like they maybe like
you guys are laughing like you can relate. You guys are laughing like you can definitely relate.
Never happened to me. I don't
That's because
like during class they're bored, their teacher's yapping about math and they're thinking about, I don't know, their girl crush. And then all of a sudden, oh no, what am I gonna do?
I know what you're talking about.
Camila, is that what made you realize your boyfriend? Is that what made you recognize him?
Like, oh my God, you like me. I see that.
Not to pick on him, I'm kidding.
Oh, he's a good guy. All right. I think this is probably a good time to wrap up. We're going for about 2 hours here. I will say this. I've had a lot of fun. This has been a great time. I've enjoyed every minute of this. Like I said at the beginning of the show, nothing is personal.
Very fun. Yes,
yeah, I've had a good time.
No, really,
and guess what,
Francesca?
Francesca, you I think belong on the Mount Rushmore of ladies' night guests, right up there with Jasmine Jafar is definitely up there. If you don't know who that is, don't go looking for an episode. God, please don't. So maybe, I don't know. You're up there. You're definitely up there. We've had a lot of fun. I think that you have got some wacky, wild, zany ideas, but you know what? Like you hold your own, and that's cool. And you stood in there for 2 hours, and you took it from us in the panel, and more power to you for standing on what you believe in. I don't have any unsolicited advice. Yeah, I don't have any unsolicited advice. I think this was great. I'd love to have you all back anytime. Stay in touch with Spencer. We do the show every Tuesday. It's going to be a new slot, 7 p.m. Spencer's generally always on. I've got some days where I can't be on. It'll be either me and Rich, generally not all three of us. But this was really cool, guys. If you like this, please subscribe to the channel. Like I said, we do these every Tuesday, Wednesday. Rich has got a show 12 p.m. about Justin Trudeau and the happenings with his resignation in Canada. I've got a Office Hour show Thursday, 12 p.m. I'm still trying to decide on a topic. So if anybody has anything they want to, listen to or hear about, send my way, please let me know. Either email me or just DM me on Instagram. But yeah, everybody, on the panel, thank you for joining. Definitely stay in touch, and hopefully we have you on a future show. And hope everybody has a great night.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
So nice to meet you, everyone.